Yo, what's up, Broncos country? How's it going today, guys? It's been a few weeks since I've made a video on this channel, and I just wanted to get on here and make this quick video about the new power rankings that just came out for the Broncos, well, for all rosters and preferably the Broncos. So, I wanted to make this video and talk about that. So, here we go. So, ESPN over the last couple of days have made a ranking of all the rosters in the NFL. And needless to say, they really, really screwed up with the Broncos. I have to say, 110%, they screwed up with the Broncos. Like, they got the Broncos ranked at 31st, second worst in the league. They have the second worst roster in the NFL based on what ESPN is saying. That is just ludicrous to me. There is no way you could sit there with a straight face and say, yeah, the Broncos have the second to worst roster in the NFL. There's no way. The reason why I say this, though, is because think about all the teams out there right now. The Commanders have a worse roster, in my opinion. The Cardinals, the Patriots, the Giants. I mean, there's a number of teams that have a worse roster than the Denver Broncos. And the only team that ESPN ranked us having a better roster than is the New York Giants. Come on. I mean, seriously, like, even the Raiders, like, I don't care. Like, in order to have one of the worst rosters in the NFL, you have to, like, yeah, holes on the roster everywhere. I'm not saying the Broncos are completely great everywhere because they're not by any stretch of the imagination. But one of the big key contributors to, these roster rankings, I would have to say would be quarterback. And, and then everything else falls into place, right? Wide receivers, offensive line, pass rush, defensive line, tight ends, running backs, everything like that. So with that said, like if you have a young rookie quarterback, like you have a young rookie quarterback and you don't know what he quite is yet, that's fine. But at least it shows promise. At least it shows, hey, this team might have their future guy on the roster. Versus teams like I should say the New York Giants, they don't know they know what Daniel Jones is. They don't have another plan outside of him. Like it's crazy to me that the Giants are the only one worse. Like you could say Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, Patriots and Drake May and all that, but it's like even the Raiders, like they don't even have a quarterback. They got Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. Like you're telling me our quarterback room's not better than that? Now I know a couple of weeks ago, it came out that the Broncos have one of the worst quarterback rooms in the NFL. I'm sorry, you can't say that. You cannot say that about a team. Like if the team clearly doesn't have a quarterback, or they got two quarterbacks that are competing, whatever. Now you can make the case for the Broncos, but the Broncos have a young guy that Sean Payton is going to develop that they have a future. They could possibly have a future with. Like having that young rookie guy, that in itself should boost your quarterback room. Like I said, the Giants don't have that. They don't have a young rookie. The Raiders don't have a young rookie. They got guys that are clearly not starters at their quarterback. They don't have like a promising future guy there that could possibly be the guy, or they don't have an upcomer. They don't have the guy that they should. Like the Commanders, I get. The Patriots, I get. They got young guys that could be the guy. We'll find out in due time. Just like the Broncos could, Bo Nix be the guy or could he be a bust? Yeah, but he could be the guy. So I'm not too worried. Like that to me is silly. Like the Broncos should be automatically better than the Raiders. They should be better. Well, they are better than the Giants, but that's one of the main things. Now let's go to look at the other parts of the roster. Okay. Um, tight end, tight end. Like yeah, Broncos tight end room is not that great. I mean, every other team, like the Giants don't have a great tight end room. Heck, you could even say the Raiders don't have a great tight end room. Trying to think of who else. Like the Cardinals, I mean, they got Trey McBride. Um, the Patriots, they don't have a great tight end. And the Broncos, they don't really have a great thing, but you got the up and comer Lucas Kroll. Dulcich could be that guy if he can stay healthy, which is a big question mark, and I understand that. But out of all those other teams I just mentioned, the Broncos do have some up and comers like Lucas Kroll, Greg Dulcich, if he can stay healthy. Like they have that, there. So that should put them higher. Offensive line. Now, this one drives me nuts because the Broncos had a top 10 offensive line last year. Yes, I understand. They lost Lloyd Cushenberry. They lost their starting center, and now they're trying to shuffle through and see what's, guy can play that center position. But let's look at the other positions. You got both your guards that are solid, that were, top in, like I think Miners was like top 5, and out of like 79 guards, I think Ben Powers was like 30th. And then tackles, they were top, like out of like I can't remember off the top of my head. They was like 80 guards or 80 tackles. Like they were top, 30s. Like this is what I'm talking about. Like we have a solid offensive line. PFF ranked them 7th overall last year. But yet the Patriots don't have an offensive line. The Raiders don't have an offensive line. The Cardinals don't really have an offensive line. The Commanders don't really have an offensive line. Like that right there. Like why are we 31st when we already have a better offensive line and an up and coming quarterback, up and coming tight end? It just doesn't make sense to me. Now let's go to the running back room. The running back room. Yes. They got Gibson in Washington, but like think of those other teams. Like the Raiders lost Josh Jacobs, the Giants lost Saquon. The Cardinals really don't have a running back. Um, the Patriots don't really. I mean, they got Stevenson, but I don't really know if he's going to be the guy there in New England. But like, look at the Broncos running back room. You got multiple backs. You got Samaje Perine. You got Javante. You got Jaleel McLaughlin. You got freaking Estimate that you just drafted this year. You got the other guy. I forgot what his name is. In the comments, please let me know, guys, if you know who the other running back is. But the Broncos have like a crop of running backs, and all these guys ain't going to make the roster. These guys, one of these guys or two of these guys are going to be cut, and they're going to or go to the practice squad. And they're going to get picked up, and they're going to be starters on other teams. So I don't see how we're worse than a lot of these teams when we have a better offensive line, better running backs. We have a promising young quarterback. We got promising young tight ends. Like it doesn't make sense to me in that aspect. Now let's move on to the receivers. Yes, a lot of these guys in the receiving room are young. Like Cortland Sutton, Josh Reynolds are older veterans. I understand that. But Cortland Sutton had 10 touchdowns last year. Like, really? How is that receiving? Like, there's like the Raiders, yeah, they have Devontae Adams. Great. The Giants, they drafted I forgot what his name is. But they drafted a young rookie receiver, which is nice. The Cardinals, they got Marvin Harrison. The Patriots really don't have a whole lot of receivers. The Commanders, Terry McLaurin. I mean, and after that, after those names I listed on those teams, who's their depth? Who else do they got? Once again, the Broncos have so many receivers. You got Cortland Sutton, Josh Reynolds, Tim Patrick, Marvin Mims, Troy Franklin, who has chemistry with our quarterback. Like, one of these guys is not going to make our roster again, and they're going to be a starter on another team. So please tell me again how the Broncos don't have a better receiving room than some of those teams I just mentioned. Like, after the top ones I listed for like the Raiders, the Cardinals, the Commanders, the Patriots, like they have one top receiver or none, and then after that, a bunch of guys you don't know. Like the Broncos, like there's gonna be one receiver on this Broncos team that's gonna get cut, that's gonna go somewhere, and he's gonna be a starter. I guarantee you that. And so I don't understand that. So let's flip to the defensive side. On the defensive side of the ball, defensive line, you did upgrade. Like the last 3 years, you got DJ Jones to help stop the run. You got Zach Allen last year to help stop the run. This year, you got Franklin Myers from the Jets to help stop the run. Now, the depth, I understand. There's not really a whole lot of great depth there on the defensive line, and that's understandable if they want to rank that one of the bottom tiers of the team. I understand that. That's fine. I have no problem with that. You got 3 solid starters, and then after that, really no depth on the defensive line. Now let's go to pass rusher. Pass rusher. Once again, a full room. You got Ellis, you got Baron Brown, you got Nick Benito, you got Jonathan Cooper, and Drew Sanders. I understand he's going to be out for the season or majority of the season, which whatever, that's fine. But when he comes back, he's probably going to be a pass rusher because he played better at pass rusher than he did inside linebacker. So You got another, big, you know, you got more depth at the pass rusher position. And one of these guys is probably not going to make the team, or if they do, by midseason, they're probably going to be traded and they're going to be starting somewhere else. So once again, another position right there, another position that the Broncos have plenty of depth on. That if a player gets cut, one of those players gets cut, they're going to go to another team and they're going to be a starter. So let's go to the cornerback position. Now, this position, this one is a big one for me, just like inside linebacker, which we'll get to here in a second. Corner, you got PS2. Arguably, actually, it's not even arguably. I believe he is the best cornerback in the game. Patrick Surtain, PS2. He is the best corner in the game. No denying that. Then after that, you don't really. You got your slot corner. You got McMillan. You're gonna be your slot corner, and he's really good. After what we saw from that kid last year, now hopefully he improves upon that and gets better in the nickel. But there you go. You got two corners right there. Now that second string cornerback position, the second corner that's going to be opposite of Patrick Surtain, that's a question mark. But once again, you got a lot of depth there. You got Damari Mathis, you got Riley Moss, you drafted Abrams Drain. There's another one. I think I can't remember off the top of my head. Oh, Levi Wallace, who you brought in. Like you're gonna have a competition for that cornerback two position. And once again, one of those guys is probably going to get cut or put on the practice squad and get picked up. And he's probably going to wind up getting a chance and being a starter on another team. So, cornerback, once again, you and these are good problems to have, having so much depth that whenever you have to shave down your roster to 53, you're good. One of these guys is going to have to be cut or put on the practice squad, and they're probably going to get picked up by somebody and be a starter. That's a good problem to have. That means you have a talented roster. That means you have a lot of good players on the roster, and it was just sad that you had to let go of one of them or two of them. So, yeah, cornerback, that's what I like. I think, honestly, and if I had to pick right now, with this most likely being an evaluation year, I think Abrams Drain, unless he falls flat on his face or, someone else just just shines at that cornerback two, I think he should be the one to get that cornerback two position opposite of Sertan. That way he can develop this year, just like Ellis, just like Bo Nix, just like Estime, and Lucas Kroll. This is a development year for this team because we got to eat that Russell Wilson dead cap money, so I would like all these young guys to get chances this year and show what they have. Now let's go with inside linebacker. Inside linebacker, now that is a weakness. I think that's the biggest weakness on this team. Like I think on defense, the biggest weakness is inside linebacker. On offense, the biggest weakness right now with Dulcich constantly being hurt. We don't know what Kroll is yet. Hopefully we do eventually. Tight ends on offense. Now, inside linebacker, the reason why I say it's a weakness is because we don't know where Drew Sanders is going to play whenever he does come back. Like I said, last year they put him at edge and he really did well. He did better on edge than he did inside. And, if that's the case, once he comes back, if they put him on the edge, like you only got three starting, inside linebackers. You got Martin, you got Griffith, and you got Singleton. What's up, Mike? Thanks for joining us tonight, man. I really appreciate it. But yeah, inside linebacker, you only got three, so you ain't got a whole lot of depth there. And that's a key weak position on this team. So okay, I'll give that to ESPN, just like tight end. I'll give that to ESPN. Those two positions really worry me. Now, last position I want to talk about is safety. Now, I've seen a lot of people call this spot a weakness. I don't think it is. Like I said, I think inside linebacker is the biggest weakness on defense, and I think tight end is the biggest weakness on the offense. So, with that said, safety, you got Caden Stearns, you got Jones, who you brought in, you got Skinner, you got PJ Locke. I mean, you got four solid safeties right there, and none of those guys are going to be cut. Like, you're probably going to carry four safeties, if not five. And like I said, you got plenty of you got good safeties. Like you might not have enough that where if you cut one, one's going to go to a different team and be a starter. Probably not. but you got four solid safeties. And if Caden Stearns comes back from his injury and, he stays on the trajectory that he was on last year before he got hurt, like this kid could be an amazing safety for years to come. So safety is not that big of an issue. I don't think it's a weakness at all. I think it's actually going to be the strength, just like our secondary has been the strength of this, team and this defense for years. I think the secondary is still going to remain that same way, and the safeties have a lot to do with that. Same with Patrick Surtain on in the cornerback room. So, but with that said, like I said, the Broncos are 31st, ranked by ESPN, 31st with their roster. Like their roster is ranked 31st, which to me, after we just went through what we just went through, is baloney. It's ludicrous to even think that they're 31. I don't know who made this list at ESPN, but I think they need to be freaking fired, dude. Like that is insane. I'm not saying Broncos should be top 15. I'm not even saying they should be top 20, but they should be in the 20s somewhere, maybe mid to early 20s. Because if you can go through the NFL right now and show me any other team with, a team that, or if you could show me like 10 teams with a better roster than the Broncos, then there's no way. There's absolutely no freaking way the Broncos should be ranked 31st, having the 31st ranked roster. There's no freaking way. If I had to guess right now, I would put the Broncos probably about 25, 24. Honestly, that's about where I would rank the Broncos. Yes, a lot of these guys are young. Yes, a lot of these guys are rookies that need to develop. Or guys coming in from injury that need to be, need to prove. But once again, when you have a position, yes, you might have a player at that position that you drafted high, or is a young guy that's in development and you don't know exactly what he is yet. That is more promising than having a roster that literally has hardly any depth, and like I said, with a roster that has so many good players at so many key positions that if they were to be cut tomorrow, they would probably be a starter on another team. So that's what I think. I think that the Broncos should be ranked like 25th or 24th, right around that range. That's where their roster's at. Like ESPN is insane to think that they're not that, at least there in the mid 20s to low 20s. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please drop a like and comment and subscribe on this video. And I will be doing my live video on Colorado Sports Connection on Sunday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Uh, Muhammad will be out the next couple of weeks, so it'll be me riding solo. We might have some guests. I might have someone else come join me on the show. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, go over there, like, comment, subscribe on that page, and please like, comment, subscribe on this page, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.